have now Mr. Benjamin Tallis, from a senior fellow at the Democratic Strategy Initiative. Hello, sir. Thank you for joining us this morning. Good morning. Pleasure to be with you. So despite its troubles to reach the requirement of 2% spending on military and defense, Germany still seems to be a strong partner of the United States and of the whole of NATO. We have announcements regarding Germany that US long-range missiles will be deployed to Germany. There's also talk of a new NATO command in Germany. So what's been the reception of this NATO summit in Germany?
Well, I mean, Germany is an ally. Whether it's at the moment a truly strong ally is a big question. You rightly mentioned the difficulties in spending enough money, and that's come at this time of urgency. But even the increase that has been there, it has not come close to compensating for the decades of neglect in defense spending that Germany had, which has led to its army, the Bundeswehr, being in a really terrible state. So Germany is not able at the moment to fulfill its NATO commitments. What it does do is host a lot of assets for others, and the kind of things that you've been talking about there are another step in that direction. But what we've seen coming out of the NATO summit is this sort of lowest common denominator unity, and that is unity around the position of Berlin. So politically, they have been very effective. Militarily, not so much.
And now I would want to tackle the problem and the issue of cybersecurity as such. Now, as Germany highlighted, the critical need to enhance NATO's cybersecurity capabilities in response to increasing threats from Russia and China. And in fact, the German delegation pushed for better coordination and intelligence sharing among member states to protect against cyber attacks. And finally, now NATO members reached an agreement. So how significant this agreement is really also from German perspective?
Well, the proof of the pudding will be in the eating. It's good to see that the German delegation was pushing this, because it means there has been a slightly greater recognition of the scale of the problem that we face as allies. We are under hybrid attack. We're under attack from Russia and from China in numerous ways, and cyber is one of the domains in which we are under attack. There is an issue, however, on intelligence sharing in relation to a level of trustworthiness of various allies' intelligence services, how much they might be compromised, how much they might be penetrated by foreign agents. And so that's a big issue that has to be addressed as well. What would make this more credible would be a real joined-up strategy to deal with the full scope of hybrid warfare that we face. So the arson attacks, the intimidation, the consistent propaganda and media campaign against our aims, our interests and our values. And if Germany were to get that together, that would be a very positive sign. But we don't see that all the way yet.
There have been issues and there have been discussions concerning Joe Biden's mental and physical fitness. But in Germany, there's also a discussion about the effectiveness and about the leadership of Olaf Schultz, the German chancellor. Do you think he has a strong position currently?
No, he doesn't. He's the most unpopular chancellor in post-war German history. He's far less popular than his defense minister, Boris Pistorius, who's the most popular politician in Germany and who takes a very different approach, both to the substance of how to deal with defense, the question of whether Ukraine should win the war. Pistorius says yes. Schultz still hasn't actually said that. And we've also seen the dire result for Schultz's Social Democratic Party, the SPD, in the European elections. They received their worst ever result in a national poll. So Schultz's position is weak, but at the moment, because of internal party reasons within the Social Democrats, it's quite unlikely there will be a change. And that's bad news for allies, but it's also bad news for Germany, because their current coalition is not functioning well as an effective government. The different parties are arguing with each other, and they're having a great deal of difficulty in implementing their key programs. So that makes further discontent among the population as well.
Well, you mentioned the differences in opinions between Chancellor Olaf Schultz and the Defense Minister Boris Pistorius. They are both from the same party, from the SPD, the Social Democrats. So where exactly this difference in opinions comes from?
Well, Pistorius recognizes the danger we're in, and Schultz is doing his best not to. and their actions reflect that. So Pistorius was instrumental in pushing far as he could, and possibly beyond the limit of what had been agreed in relation to deploying the permanent brigade of German troops in Lithuania. He was really driving that. He's also been very clear about the need for better procurement, and he's been clear, as I say before, of the need for Ukraine to actually win its war and for Russia to be defeated. Now, Pistorius draws on his Cold War experience there. He talks repeatedly about having grown up in a frontline state and understanding what a Cold War type confrontation means. Schultz, on the other hand, had a very different history at that time. He was part of the peace movement. He was part of the cooperation with East Germany as much as he could to build friendly relations between the two Germanys. And he opposed NATO's dual track decision on the missiles that were stationed in Germany at the time. So they have different histories, but also they have different approaches to the future. And particularly Olaf Schultz is seeking to cling on to as much of the world of the recent past as he possibly can. That's a world Germany did well from. It's a world its businesses did well from. And Schultz really does not want to change. But unfortunately, that world is gone. And this is what Schultz is struggling to deal with, is the disconnect between his preference and the world as it is.
And clearly, if Germany wants to keep, it will have to change its approach sooner than later. Thank you so much, Benjamin Tallis, for joining us and providing your expert insights.
Thank you.